Hi, this is Todd Parkmore with Big Head Todd and the Monsters, and you're listening to My Weekly Mixtape with Brian Colbert, and we just finished incredible discussions about some of our favorite songs of Big Head Todd and the Monsters, and hopefully you'll be intrigued.
Welcome to My Weekly Mixtape, a podcast that takes the classic mixtape approach to building a modern playlist. I'm your host, Brian Colburn. Joining me tonight as guest curator is Todd Parkmore, lead vocalist and multi-instrumentalist for Big Head Todd and the Monsters. Todd, thank you so much for joining me on My Weekly Mixtape.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to start by asking you the same question I ask all of my first-time guests, and that's, what does the word mixtape mean to you?
That means a cassette tape that is designed to impress a girl. That's what it means to me.
Well, tonight we're going to be trying to impress a lot of people with our mixtape because we're going to create the ultimate Big Head Todd and the Monsters mixtape together. Me from a fan perspective and you from, well, the artist who writes all of the songs. My question for you is, how hard is it, because you guys do this on a nightly basis with your set lists, how hard is it to cull down 35 years of music into something that's a little shorter and digestible?
Well, it's not as hard as you think, because over those years we learned what works and what doesn't. And people have favorites, and we notice that certain songs, push buttons and are useful in certain ways. But having said that, we have a lot of variety in our sets. I write a different set every night, and we usually include the predictable hits and successful songs of ours, but also, things that are my favorites or stuff that I haven't heard in a while, or, we try to keep it fresh for the band. That's really important. So I feel good about having a lot of music to choose from.
Well, let's get down to business. Tonight, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Todd and I will be creating the ultimate Big Head Todd and the Monsters mixtape, and we'll use the old cassette deck approach. Todd, as my special guest, will begin side A with his first song choice, and then I'll add a song that I feel best follows up that choice. We'll then flip-flop choosing songs until we've mapped out 10 songs for side A. We'll then give our mixtape a proverbial flip, and we'll map out side B, only this time I'll kick things off with Todd choosing second. Our overall goal for the episode is to craft the best Big Head Todd and the Monsters mixtape possible through only 20 songs. At the end of the show, you can take our conversation to the next level by visiting the episode page at myweeklymixtape.com to give our final mixtape a listen via the embedded playlist. And if you like what you're hearing on the show, you can help me out by either telling a friend, leaving the show a 5-star review wherever you're tuning in, or becoming a Patreon mixtaper at patreon.com/myweeklymixtape. And with that, Todd, I'm officially pressing the record button on our mixtape, and the floor is yours. What song are you choosing to kick off side A?
Whoa. Well, I like to choose a song called Thunderbird. And it's a new song of ours, and we'll get it to you so you can play it. But it's upcoming on our new release, which is called Her Way Out. It'll be coming in the end of May or the beginning of June, somewhere right around there. And this is the first song that I wrote for that album. And the way that it came about was during COVID, I got to watch a lot of movies since we weren't playing shows. And I found out that it's a really great way to write songs. Springsteen has this very cinematic thing going on in his songs, and cinema itself is pretty interesting because there's a story that's really important, that's rich with a lot of dialogue. So Thunderbird is about the movie American Graffiti. If you recall, there's a white Thunderbird and this beautiful old lady that's driving it, and everybody's chasing her around through the whole movie. But, I just watch the movie and just kind of take with my notepad, and that's how it went down.
All right, we have an absolute first happening here on My Weekly Mixtape. I am going to, thanks to Todd, premiere the song Thunderbird for you right now, and you're hearing it for the first time, as am I. This is really cool. Let's check it out. first thing I'm going to say is my first impressions, I 100% see why we're kicking off tonight's playlist with that song. It absolutely rocks. I love it.
Nice.
Man, we are kicking off 2024 in style, and I get to follow up a brand new song. So what I'm going to do is play Counterbalance to Thunderbird, and I'm going to go all the way back to 1993, and I Loved Her Yet, She Has Done Me Wrong, the opening track to Sister Sweetly, Brokenhearted Savior. This song has meant so much to me over the years. It's just such a brilliantly written tune. And it's the first song that introduced a lot of people to the band because it was the first song on your major label debut. So people putting in that CD for the first time, that's their introduction. Could you talk about the longevity of this song as well as Sister Sweetly as a whole? Because last year it turned 30 years old.
Yeah, well, Brokenhearted Savior, as you said, is the first song on that album. We still play it every single night. It's probably our most popular rock song. It's my favorite rock song to play of ours. And I would say the success of that album, Sister Sweetly, I think it came out in 1993, was just really a special thing because I'm still proud of the record. I still think it's a really great record, and we still love playing all that material. But to have fans have it be their favorite record or an important part of their life, I mean, that's an honor for us. It's been a really great life for me to play that record over the last, couple of decades or whatever.
Has there ever been a moment where you said, let's try to leave that one out of the set, or was that never a question?
Not really. I had my Dylan era maybe where, we kind of like tried to zig and zag my way out of stuff that I thought was overplayed, but people paid money to get the pleasure of hearing their favorite songs. And it's really important, I think, to honor that.
Well, following that up, the floor is now yours for track 3.
All right. Well, track 3, I'm going to choose a song called Crazy Mary off A Beautiful World. And it's one of my favorite songs. I had it sort of in my pocket when producer Jerry Harrison was interested in recording the band. And I think it was a song that really got to him and convinced him that I have to produce this band. And we still love playing it to this day. It just has a calm to it that I really like. And I love the solo section, and I love the lyric, which is, just about maybe a less fortunate person, somebody who's had a hard time and who needs an understanding person and, an understanding ear, let's say.
By all means, that is a beautifully ethereal song. I absolutely love the guitar work on it. I actually harken back to the 2004 Live at the Fillmore DVD and CD set, that there's a version on that it's just fraught with emotion, and you could feel it coming out of the speakers. Obviously, the studio version's amazing as well, but thankfully with Big Head Todd and the Monsters, there's also a lot of live albums to choose from. And while I'm talking about that 2004 album, that was for a tour of one of my personal favorite Big Head Todd and the Monsters albums, Crimes of Passion. So I'm going to follow up Crazy Mary with a track from that. And this is tough because I love this album. I could keep the vibe slow and go with Angela Danger Love because that kind of keeps that vibe going. I could kind of go with that dirty blues groove of Love Transmission, but I feel like I want to pivot the vibe to just something down and dirty. And it's in the name, Dirty Juice.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, the song itself, the name is perfect. The dirty riff that's in this song carries you through. It's got a massive hook. The song really kicks off the album with authority. And now looking back, with 20 years of hindsight, 2 decades, do you still feel the same way about this album as when you guys first released it? Because as a fan, I still love this album.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it has some favorites for me. Crimes of Passion has Imaginary Ships.
Yes.
And I mean, there's a lushness to it there's a lot of sort of spacier kind of songs to it. And yeah, it's one of my favorites. And Dirty Juice, by the way, we still love playing. We play it almost every night. So we call it the hoedown because it's just got this kind of really solid blues beat to it.
So I guess this next step won't be that complicated for you because the song is in your set list quite often. What song are you going to choose to follow up Dirty Juice for track 5?
Well, I'm going to choose Tower.
Nice.
Which I think it's on Beautiful World.
Yes, that's correct.
And it's got a Curtis Mayfield thing going on, but it's a really great lyric. Walking around the Tower of Love and rain coming down. It just got something that is a really moody soul song.
Love the pick. Love the album. Beautiful World to me is an album that almost like a movie, like you said, there's a lot of different scenes in the album because you go from a song like Crazy Mary, which is really like ethereal, like I had mentioned before. And then you've got Tower, but then you go into kind of the bluesier side of things with your cover of Boom Boom, which maybe we'll talk about at some point tonight.
Yeah.
But that album as a whole feels like you're telling a story through kind of different chapters as you go through the album.
Nice.
Can you bring us back to that album cycle and put us in the mindset of the band at that time?
Well, that particular period for us was really nice. And one of the things that was special about it was working with Jerry Harrison. We recorded it at the plant in Sausalito, which Fleetwood Mac, all kinds of people, is a really legendary place. And just to be there in that time frame of our career, Bernie Worrell played on that album. Obviously, John Lee Hooker played on it. So
Yep.
It was an incredible session. And I'm proud of every song on it.
Well, I think I'm going to throw a little loop now and go with something a little different because this is the first time I get to talk about my favorite songs from you. So I'm bouncing around from every album I can. And
Okay.
I'm going to go to 2002's Riviera for this one.
Ooh.
And
Nice.
I'm going to go with a song that I think has such a ridiculously powerful hook. I am shocked the song wasn't a massive, massive hit. And it's the album opener, Juliana. I mean, it's an absolute highlight for me. And it's something that I've already chosen several album openers tonight. And that's something I want to touch on because every time I've purchased a Big Head Todd CD over the years that I'm sitting here holding my stack of them, I always know when I put it into the CD player, the first song I hear is going to grab my attention. And I feel like that's something that in the day of streaming and in digital media, that goes kind of out the door now. People don't think of really hooking people with that opening song. And is that something that you guys cognitively think about when you're putting together a new album, say Her Way Out?
Sure. It's really important. If you don't like the first song, you probably won't listen to much more of the album. If you're going to bother with an album, you better start strong and then move on from there. So that's the traditional logic is always to do that. And Juliana, I agree with you. I think that song should have been bigger too. I love that song. And I think it's a great pop rock song.
By all means. Now we are back to you for track 7.
Okay. If I could zag, I will. And I know that you are aware of this because of the mega fan you are, but I had such great opportunity to learn about blues music through 2 projects that we did under the moniker of Big Head Blues Club.
Yes.
And one of them was, it was a tribute to Willie Dixon. And the track is called Sit and Cry in the Blues. The coolest thing about that song to me, aside from it's really got a very unusual middle section, is Buddy Guy recorded it. And I got to play it for Buddy Guy at Buddy Guy Day in Chicago when he was celebrated, I think in the early 2000s. So that's a special song to me.
So I have to ask, the Big Head Blues Club, obviously you're diving much, much deeper into the blues than you would on a Big Head Todd album and bringing in a lot of guests. Was there a reason to not just continue calling it Big Head Todd and the Monsters? Were you trying to purposely show the difference between the two?
Yes. The whole project was sort of conceived as our band being a rhythm section for great living blues artists that probably were slightly under-celebrated. And, at the time when it began, we were sort of the rock pop thing that would help bring people in. And the tours were in performing arts centers all over the country. And we did want to differentiate it because it's a blues project with a very expanded band. We had 2 drummers for a lot of it. And so it was a really different project. But what it did for us is it enabled us to meet blues legends that I'd always adored, but to work with them and to learn what's going on. Luther Dickinson of the Mississippi All-Stars told me something about this sort of thing that always resonated with me. He said, yep, blues is the kind of thing you have to learn from somebody. Like, you need to have a flesh and blood connection to somebody to really get it. And not that I got it, but I got a long way into it for sure.
And did those projects color the way you guys wrote music?
Absolutely.
In the albums following?
Yeah. To me, what's special about blues is that it's a tradition. And the point of it is to honor the mentors in a way and to carry the tradition through. It isn't about, oh, I'm such a great songwriter, I've got all these novel ideas. It's more about honoring the past and bringing it forward. And that feel in songwriting, it just really got to me. And the more that I studied the lyrics, especially Robert Johnson lyrics are vicious.
Yep. Yeah.
They are incredibly great. They're poignant and they're poetic. And there's a lot of imagery that it's just striking in it. So I learned a great deal from doing both of those.
Well, following that up, I'm going to go with an album that the band did a very unique rollout for. And it's one that I'll never forget. In 2007, the band released an album, All the Love You Need. And the album was actually paid for and mailed out for free by various sponsors. And that is how I got my initial copy of the album.
Wow.
And the first song on that album follows where you went with the Big Head Blues Club, because there's this dirty slide guitar on it that I absolutely gravitate to. And the track is Her Own Kind of Woman.
Yeah.
My question about that album was, that was a very different way to bring music to the world. And this was happening around 2007. Streaming was not there at this point. This was only downloads and iTunes and everything else. What was the idea behind that approach?
Well, I think that was a time, as you said, it was sort of in the middle of things. CDs were sort of less important. Other things were coming in, Napster, if you recall.
Yep.
But nothing was really firm. And we've always kind of struggled with the business model and with labels and all that. That's always been hard for us. But we basically just want to get our music to people. And, desperate as it may sound, you got it for free and that worked out. So I'm glad that you did. And by the way, that album was produced by David Bianco.
Oh, yeah.
Who I think he produced Petty's Wildflowers.
Yeah.
He's a great producer and had a lot to offer that album.
One of the things I noticed right from the jump in Her Own Kind of Woman was a full horn section.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys have worked with a lot over the years or wanted to? Because it was seamless in the song. It felt like you've always been doing it.
You're sweet. Yeah, we flirted with it. And I love horn sections. I'm a huge Tower of Power fan.
There you go.
I love rhythm and blues and I love horns. I play sax and horns are really hard. It's hard to go on the road with horns. And it's hard to mic horns, and horn players, you got to have them, a bunch of them to pull it off. And so we do it every blue moon, and it's worth doing it. And we will do it again, but it's not part of our regular system.
Yeah, Her Own Kind of Woman gives me almost a Rolling Stones Exile on Main Street,
Nice.
Rocks Off kind of vibe with the horns there. And it's just so unique to have that kind of come out of the blue in an album. And it was so seamless. It works so well.
Thank you.
Well, following that up, we're back to you for track 9.
Okay, let me get my list going here because you've thrown me some curveballs, but I'm going to throw you one.
Okay.
And this song is called Long Cold Train. And it is, I can't recall if it's on an album.
I thought that was on New World Horizon.
It is. It is.
Sorry.
It's on New World Horizon. Thank you.
Okay.
But ironically, somehow on Spotify, it's in our top 10. And you wouldn't think that because it seems like kind of a out of the way song for us. I think it got on a really popular playlist and became popular through that. But regardless, because of that, we've been playing it again. And it's got some mojo. Check it out.
Oh, it's a great tune. The whole album's fantastic. I'd be lying if I said that there might not be another song from New World Horizon coming down the pike.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Well, you started side A with a song from Her Way Out. And I think I'm going to answer by closing side A with another song from Her Way Out. And I am going to go with the lead single, Crush.
Hallelujah, I ain't listening. Hallelujah, I don't hear. I know it ain't gold, but it sure is glistening. No, it ain't true, baby, but it's coming in clear. Heavy words broke my bones, shattered my heartbeat, hijacked my head with your mighty megaphone. Words so heavy they can't crush me. Now I'm free. I don't hear your voice no more.
Now, you've said that this song is about how we're formed by our past and the voices that influence us for good or for not. I'd love
Yeah.
for you to elaborate on that because that's a really interesting concept.
Well, I think that, especially children, we are raised oftentimes with messages that are self-defeating or that prevent us from reaching our potential. And a lot of times through relationships on every level and in politics, in society, there's a lot of lying. And I really feel strongly that when you lie to me about something, you've robbed me of my freedom. Like if I tell you you're free to choose between these two apples, and I lie to you tell you there's a worm in one that I want to have, what happened to your freedom to choose? It's gone. So this issue, I think, is a really important one. And whether it's a man-woman relationship or father-son, or sort of just as saying, I'm free. If I can see through what's going on here, then I'm free.
Wow. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
there you have it, folks. Side A of our ultimate Big Head Todd and the Monsters playlist, which kicked off with Thunderbird from Her Way Out, Brokenhearted Savior from Sister Sweetly, Crazy Mary from Beautiful World, Dirty Juice from Crimes of Passion, Tower from Beautiful World, Juliana from Riviera, Sitting Crying the Blues from A Tribute to Willie Dixon, Her Own Kind of Woman from All the Love You Need, Long Cold Train from New World Horizon, and Crush from Her Way Out. Head over to myweeklymixtape.com to hear all the songs we've discussed in this mix through the playlist embedded on the episode page. Now, Todd, earlier I had mentioned seeing the band on the Crimes of Passion tour some 20 years ago, and you had actually mentioned the North Mississippi All-Stars, so that brought up a memory for me. I saw a show, and I'm going to try to move some cobwebs in your brain because this was a show that to me is a defining live moment that I've seen in my life.
Okay.
The show took place at the Meadowbrook Pavilion in Guilford, New Hampshire in 2004. North Mississippi All-Stars, Big Head Todd and the Monsters, and Blues Traveler. Towards the end of your set, you guys broke into Led Zeppelin's Fool in the Rain. And one by one, members of Blues Traveler started appearing on stage.
Yeah.
To the point where at the end of the song, both bands were simultaneously playing with both drummers. And then one by one, you guys disappeared and Blues Traveler continued the song. It was probably a 15 or 20 minute version in my recollection. And it was one of the coolest live experiences I ever had because one, both of your sets were longer. There was no intermission and the music just kept on going. I would love to know how you guys logistically pulled that off because it was flawless to the audience.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know that we've done that since. And I barely remember that, but now that you mentioned it, it was amazing. And it was their song that their band had kind of been playing for a while, covering that song for a while. So we just thought, that would be a great way to make a transition so that there's no, people aren't just twiddling their thumbs. And we've never done it since. I've never done it since with any group ever, but we are out with Blues Traveler this summer again. So maybe that's something we should talk about.
I want to put it out there that I'm feeding that seed because it was such an amazing jam. And from an audience standpoint, I remember your set was going on. I'm going, wow, they've played for almost 75 minutes. This is amazing. We're not getting like a truncated set.
Yeah.
And because there was no layover between the bands, I felt like we hit the jackpot musically.
Nice. Well, I'll bring that up again.
All right. Well, we're now moving into side B, and I get to pick the first track this time around.
Okay.
And when I was thinking about how I wanted to lead into the side, the more I thought about it, I wanted to start things off with the funkiest, danciest Big Head Todd groove that I could ever imagine. And I'm going to go with the title track to 2010's Rock Steady.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, this song has the album as a whole has such a loose, relaxed vibe, but it's chock full of killer tunes. And Glide Magazine actually called the album fresh in ways even the band might not expect, which leads me to ask, with that album, was there a sense that you guys were trying to push the musical boundaries in terms of what fans can expect from Big Head Todd?
Yeah, absolutely. We had come back from maybe our first or second Caribbean cruise. We spent some time down there, and there's something about that part of the world that's just so musical. And I really felt just a janky reggae inspiration that came from that place that we wanted to put into album form. And the cover of Rocksteady is from a very famous bar down there in the Carib, and I can't recall, but it'll say on the cover, maybe you can cull it, like in the grill or something like that, But anyways, it is unusual. It's pretty soul-oriented, reggae-oriented, which isn't kind of our basic DNA. There's a lot of pretty produced background, nice multi-part background chorus type things. The Beast of Burden on that is really good too.
Oh my God, I love that cover.
So there's some really cool stuff.
All right, well, we're back to you now to follow it up with track 2.
Okay. My track 2 is Her Way Out, which is the title track for our next record.
She says I'm living in a one-track mind, like a runaway train running out of time. If you can't see the one who can see right through you, then maybe it's time to get a better guru. She found her way out. She found her way out, and it was me. She found her way out. She found her way out, and now she's free.
I want to tell you a quick story about how that song came into being. I had somebody that I knew who was in a relationship, and he had gotten a little too drunk and said some things. And the next morning, it was over. And she would not tell him what he said that caused it to be over.
Oh.
He was like so wounded by that. And I just thought that was just quite a situation to be in. And it sort of kind of inspired that song. But the gist of it is that in that case, he was her way out. His behavior gave her an out. But later in the song, that phrase takes a turn where, relationship can be your way out. Being together can be your way out. So the chorus kind of shifts its meaning by the third verse. It means something different. But the second thing I'll say about it is it has a real Tom Petty vibe to it. It's really, I can't tell you how important Petty is to our group. And I'm almost crying thinking about him. But our bassist, Rob, is probably the biggest Petty fan there is. And this is his favorite song that we've ever done.
Wow.
So that meant a lot to me. And I knew right away that, hey, this is probably something that we should pursue. So I'm glad it became the title track of the record. It's at radio now. We haven't had a track at radio in 20 years, and it's doing really well in its beginnings. We'll see where it goes, but we love the song. Check it out.
I immediately caught the Tom Petty vibes.
Cool.
And for anybody who listens to my weekly mixtape, they already know where I'm going with this, but all the listeners know Tom Petty is my favorite artist of all time. I actually have a candle that's sitting on my desk that just says, "Some days are diamonds, some days are rocks." Words to live by from the song Walls. Tom Petty, to me, his music means so much to me. And anytime I hear a band that I'm a fan of channeling that, it's bringing together two worlds that mean a lot to me. And this was definitely in my bank of songs to include later for that very reason. So I'm so glad you included it now.
All right.
When Tom Petty passed, I was distraught for days. It didn't seem real. And every time I listen to his music, it still doesn't seem real. He's one of the just greatest songwriters of our generation, I truly believe.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Well, following that up, I'm going to bring because we talked about Tom here, and it's putting me in kind of a different mindset. And I think I know the perfect place to bounce off this, bringing the mood down a little bit, but with a song that also celebrates somebody who was gone too soon. And I think I'm going to go with the title track to 2014's Black Beehive, the heartfelt tribute to Amy Winehouse. Musically, the song is just stunning. But then when you pull out and look at the album as a whole, it's an incredible body of work produced by one of the most underrated musicians on the planet, the amazing Steve Jordan. I'd love to know what it was like working with him on this album and what he brought to the table musically for you guys.
Sure. Yeah, he's one of the greatest drummers that ever lived, and musical minds. He's been involved in, the Rolling Stones, for example. Right now.
Little bar band,
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely phenomenal. He produced John Mayer's Continuum.
Yep.
He's a great producer and just a really super smart guy. He loved Black Beehive, and I think that's one of the songs that completely sucked him in. That vocal was one take.
Oh.
He filmed the take. I think it may even be on YouTube. I'll have to see if it is, because I think it might be. But at any rate, the song came about because I was writing a song a day and putting them on YouTube as a kind of writer's exercise, which was exhausting because I'd write the song, record the video of a live solo performance of it. And, but so many things happen. And when somebody passes away like Amy Winehouse, there's an incredible story. Just such a rich story there. I just couldn't resist it. And it was just a lucky day when I wrote it, because there's a lot of killer lines in it, and it really does honor her. It says the story, and I like that a lot.
And it's definitely one that I see continues through the band's live sets to this day, which is great. It really fits so well.
And it's in our top 10 on Spotify too.
there you have it.
It's a top 10 Big Head Todd song.
And deservedly so. It's an amazing piece. So with that, we are back to you now to follow it up for track 4.
Okay. Since we're sort of in ballad mode, I'd like to submit one of my favorite ballads that I wrote. And it's called These Days Without You. It's on Beautiful World. And it's pretty simple. I miss somebody, but it's really a choker. I mean, it'll choke you up. It chokes me up singing it because the lines are just so delicate and so true. And I enjoy performing it for that same reason. Like when we're in exactly the right setting, that song kills.
Now, I've noticed you've pulled several songs from Beautiful World tonight so far between Crazy Mary, Tower. Is this one of the albums that just seems to resonate with you on a higher level?
Yeah, I think in especially in this sort of ethereal, atmospheric, soulful kind of thing. But at the same time, Resignation Superman was on that album.
Yeah.
I think that's the head track was.
Yep.
It had, Helpless. There's a lot of rock in it too. And, the whole thing we were talking about, Jerry Harrison, the former Talking Head producer, brilliant producer. It was a magic moment in our career.
Well, pivoting out of the slower songs now, I want to pick it up a little bit.
We shall return to ballads.
Yes. I want to pick up the energy a little bit. And I'm going to go with a song that during the COVID lockdowns, the band did a live stream from Red Rocks. And it was one of the most memorable moments because it was one of the few nights where I felt like, I'm not looking at the same thing over and over again. Here's something that's actually happening. And my whole family got together and we watched the We're Gonna Play It Anyway show that you guys did. And I'm going to go with the title track, the song you opened with, New World Horizon. I had mentioned it earlier. That live stream was a musical highlight of a really tough time in a lot of people's lives.
Nice.
Can you talk about how that all came together? Because I know you guys have no shortage of playing a venue that's been on my concert bucket list for as long as I can remember, Red Rocks in Colorado. You guys have played there 30 something times. It's staggering.
Something like that.
What was that event like, playing in Red Rocks to nobody, but technically playing to so many people online?
Well, because of COVID, obviously there was no performing. It pretty much shut everybody's business down. We were all at home. And the chance to do that was just so great. I mean, Red Rocks is probably the best venue in the world and one of the most scenic anyways and best sounding. But to be able to play an empty Red Rocks, nobody's done that. Nobody's done that. So it was really an honor to be able to do that. And the fact that it could be live streamed and it could reach people and all that, I mean, that's just so meaningful to us. I would like to say something about New World Horizon while we're on it. It's another one of our favorites. We play it a lot. And obviously it rocks. It's a hard rock song. But the origins of the song came from Charlie Patton. Charlie Patton's one of the very first bluesmen who ever, recorded. You can buy his box set on Paramount. He was popular in the 20s. I think he died in 1940 or something like that. But he was a huge inspiration to Bob Dylan. I'm the guy from, I'm zoning out, but the Creedence lead guy.
John Fogerty?
John Fogerty. He paid for Charlie Patton's gravestone.
Wow.
It's like one of those kinds of things. And Charlie Patton had a song called Jesus is My Dying Bedmaker. And that's that song. I basically, wrote some words to that song. I mean, it's a straight blues song, but it plays like a hard rock song. And it's really fun.
Well, we are back to you now for track 6, the second half of side B.
All right. Well, you've been moving around a lot and through albums, which is really fun. And we get to bring up things that are on albums that maybe aren't the normal for us. You mentioned Riviera, and I'd like to say, well, what about Riviera? I love Riviera, and I also love the cover of Riviera.
Yeah.
It was shot out of my hotel room in, I think it was in Iowa City. It was in Iowa, but it's one of those things where at that time of our career, we weren't getting a lot of love. I mean, we were from you and from our fan base, but we were struggling with our label. We had been in a conflict with our label that lasted for several years because I refused to co-write. They wanted me to co-write with people that would kind of give some pop zing to the band. And I hated that idea. I felt like I'm a good writer and I got things to say as a writer. And, one thing that's nice about one guy writing is there's a person there. Like there's a marrow to something that one person did. And I just felt strongly about that. But that album just kind of has a special tone because of that. It was recorded at my, I had a log cabin that was on solar power in Yampa, Colorado, which is like way in the mountains of Colorado. So it was a really fun album to make, a really special time in our career. And I love Riviera.
Well, let me say I'm glad that you have chosen to continue to write songs on your own and not do the co-writing route because it shows. I love the Riviera album, and I'm so glad you stuck to your guns with this one because it produced some amazing songs.
Nice.
Well, following that up, I am going to go with one of the bigger hits because I feel like I want to give a nice balanced approach here, and we've been digging deep, but I also want to put out some of my favorites of all time.
Let's do it.
And without these songs, I wouldn't be the fan I am today. And I'm going to go with one of the heaviest songs I think the band has ever written. It's just the energy and the aura around the song. And I'm going to go with Circle from Sister Sweetly. It's just such a monster song. When you hit the high notes during the guitar solo, like the hair on my arms is standing up just talking about it. This song is so powerful. And at the time, when it came out in the 90s, this was a 6+ minute single. That is unheard of now.
Yeah, I guess it is. You're right. That's interesting. Yeah, at that time, too, there wasn't a lot of guitar rock happening either. We were sort of unusual in that way for those days, but we still play Circle every show. It is usually it's our show ender. Almost every show. I mean, we'll play an encore, but I can't say enough how important that's been to our career. And I appreciate that you guys like it because.
Oh, God, yeah. Hell, when you guys open it up and take it into 8, 9, 10 minutes, I'm all here for it. So, I mean, jam on, man.
Nice.
All right. Well, following that up, you have track 8.
All right. Well, let's go with. Just give me a moment here. Because I think I wouldn't mind going to another hit. I'm just not sure which one. I think I'll choose It's All Right.
Nice.
Which has been really an amazing thing for us to be able to play. It's obviously been a successful song for the band. We've had incredible vocalist Hazel Miller has been a big part of our career. She's been all over that song. And the original recording featured Javita Steele as she was the vocalist on that song. David Z produced it, who was Prince's producer. And we recorded it at Paisley Park, that album. So he had a lot of that really slick kind of soul, R&B, Prince-oriented, very tight. At that time, there weren't computers. We weren't like gridding things out on a computer then. And so to get that kind of sound, I mean, was a chore. And that album, it took a long time. We were in the studio for like 3.5 months.
Really?
It was very intensive because of that, going for that perfect time before there were computers. We used to have a thing it was called a Russian dragon, like Russia, on the faceplate of the machine.
Yeah.
But it would tell you if you were rushing or dragging. But there were so many things like that that, just made that a really special sounding record.
It really is. And that song, again, to me, it's a staple. It's a song that I don't want to say you expect to hear, but you'd almost be disappointed if you don't hear it in a live show. It's just so great. And I think I'm going to follow it up. We're going to do a trifecta from Sister Sweetly. I feel like we have to do that.
Yeah.
And for track 9, I'm going to go with the song that introduced me to the band, which made me buy Sister Sweetly, which made me hear Brokenhearted Savior for the first time. And I'm going to go with the amazing pop rock hit Bittersweet. I absolutely love the song. And what I love about it, it has all the workings of a classic 90s rock song. But then there's the guitar solo, and it just is so bluesy and so jangly, for lack of a better word. It takes it outside of what you would consider pop rock, and it just adds a whole new layer of complexity to it.
Oh, well, thank you.
And to me, that is always what resonated with me about the band. There was a pop sensibility, but you stuck to your roots of blues and rock, and you never let those fall to the wayside. They always stayed a part of the sound. My question about Bittersweet, that was originally featured on Midnight Radio.
Right.
Why was that the one song that made the leap to Sister Sweetly?
Okay. This is an excellent question. As you noticed, it did appear in Midnight Radio, and that was, all perfectly good. Midnight Radio was the last album before we were signed to a major label. We released Midnight Radio on our own, along with another album, Another Mayberry.
Yes.
Before we were, discovered by a major label and put in that system or whatever. When we did the album, Sister Sweetly, I did not want Bittersweet to be on it.
Really?
Because it was already on Midnight Radio. I mean, why am I putting it on 2 albums? That doesn't make any sense. And the powers that be, put a lot of pressure on me to include that song. They ultimately prevailed, and I'm glad they did, because, the version that is on Sister Sweetly, it just, has all those really high, those big production poppy kind of elements, and it's the band's most important song. It was our only #1 rock radio hit, and it still is the song that people pay money to see us play, probably, more than any other song. And you can feel it when we play it. So I'm glad you chose it.
Well, now, Todd, you have the privilege, honor, or whatever you want to call it, tough choice to pick the song that closes out side B of the ultimate Big Head Todd and the Monsters playlist.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to choose another song from Riviera, which is my favorite song, since you've given me that chance.
Sure.
It's called Secret Mission.
Nice.
And I just love the song. I'll be honest with you. The very beginning, I borrowed from The Clash.
Really?
Clamp Down or something like that. That feedback at the beginning going into the...
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's a very original song. And I love the lyric. Invisible ink on invisible paper, but I can still smell your perfume. That song is full of great one-liners, and it's really a emotional and fun song to play every night. We don't play it every night, but we play it a lot still.
Well, there you have it, folks. Side B of our ultimate Big Head Todd and the Monsters playlist, which kicked off with Rocksteady from the album of the same name, the brand new track Her Way Out from the album of the same name, and I'm actually going to say this a third time, Black Beehive from the album of the same name.
All title tracks.
There you go. These Days Without You from Beautiful World. Okay, here we go again. New World Horizon from New World Horizon, album of the same name. Riviera from Riviera, album of the same name. A trifecta of songs, Circle, It's All Right, and Bittersweet from Sister Sweetly. and Secret Mission from Riviera. Head over to myweeklymixtape.com to hear all the songs we've discussed in this mix through the playlist embedded on the episode page. Now, we did not touch on cover songs tonight, and I want to take a moment to do that because through the years, cover songs have always been a part of Big Head Todd's repertoire, but done in a way that truly make them your own. A couple of them that come to mind. The band did an amazing rendition of Tangerine on the Led Zeppelin Encomium release that came out in the 90s. You did a insane 180-degree pivot of Leonard Skinner's Sweet Home Alabama on the Under the Influence tribute, where you slowed it down and made it a hazy, tripped out version. It's just unbelievable. We talked about your cover of the Rolling Stones' Beast of Burden from Rocksteady. You talked about the cover of Boom Boom with John Lee Hooker. And then you also recorded a cover of Neil Young's Cinnamon Girl with Toad the Wet Sprocket. What is the band's overall mindset when you're covering a song, trying to put that Big Head Todd stamp on it? Because all of those examples truly do that.
Yeah, I think it's really important to try to add a little bit of your own way of doing things if you're going to do a cover. And at the same time, you know, all those songs are huge songs. If you're going to just play just like it is, then it's less impressive, I think. But choosing the song is so important too. You know, Tangerine has been a big song for us. There's a lot of great Led Zeppelin songs, but that's just such a, I don't know, that's just a clever song. I think that's been so fun for us to do. While we're on the cover songs, I want to mention Brandy. We have a version of Looking Glass Brandy that's really popular. Again, it's on a Spotify top 10. It's probably number 6 or something like that. And it's not on an album. It's one of the Monster Monthly things. But like the YouTube video, I think there's over 1 million views in it. Elliot Lurie, the singer from Looking Glass, gave us a huge kudos saying, you know, you guys made me proud covering that song.
That's
and
amazing.
Unlike some of those other ones, that song is just pretty much straight and true to the original form of the song. And we really didn't do much except for redo it as good as we could. And it just worked out well.
And then lest we forget the cover of Bruce Springsteen's Rosalita that you did with Blues Traveler's John Popper.
Yeah, that's a special one too. John Popper playing the harmonica parts for all those Clarence Clement, you know, all those big man sax parts.
Yeah.
Harmonica in our thing. And that song is just a glorious, whatever it is, 7 minutes. That's a long song. There's a lot of words in that song, but man, what a great piece of work that is.
And you guys did an incredible version of it.
Thank you.
Well, along with the release of Her Way Out, what does the rest of 2024 have in store for the band?
Well, we're in the middle of our winter tour. We're finishing it up. We have about 3 weeks left down the East Seaboard, you know, from New York to Carolina. And we'll finish that up at the end of February and have a couple months off. We're gearing it up for a release. It's been about 7 years since we put an album out. And we're really proud of what's going to happen when this comes, you know, this piece of music. That'll be kind of tied to our Red Rocks play in June, where we're going to do 2 shows with the Wallflowers.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool, Jacob Dylan.
Yeah.
And then this summer, we'll have us back with Blues Traveler. We played it last summer with them kind of in the West Coast and a little bit of Midwest. And this summer, we're going to finish it up and get to the East Coast. And after that, we'll do another winter tour. And in March, we'll be on a Joe Bonamassa cruise.
Nice.
To Belize. So I don't know who the other groups. He's got incredible artists. So he does these big cruises with 5 or 6 big bands. But he's such a great guitarist. I really look forward to not cutting heads with him, but learning from him. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to lie. I'd love to see you two throw down together on a song, man. I think that'd be amazing.
We'll see what happens. I'll practice my scales.
And don't forget, Fool in the Rain with Blues Traveler this summer. Full band crossovers. Let's make it happen.
Okay, yeah. I love that. Okay. We're hoping to cover just before, with Blues Traveler, the song that we're hoping to do with them is The Wizard, Black Sabbath.
Really?
It's a really cool song with harmonica.
I love
in it.
it. That harmonic is so haunting in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be
So
badass.
our band's learning it. We've been talking about it, so it's going to be cool when we pull it out.
Are you taking the lead vocals on that or with John?
We'll see, because John, he's an incredible singer too. So I hope that he'll take some. But I'm really good at. I got a pretty good Ozzy Osbourne imitation in here.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. That's got to be another monthly release. It just has to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Todd, thank you so much for joining me on My Weekly Mixtape. This has been an absolute honor.
All right. Thanks, Brian, for having me. And it's humbling to have somebody like you that fell for my music. I mean, to such a degree that you have. I mean, of course, we love it. Our band loves all of our albums. It's just really special to have a lengthy career and to have people say that this song or that song is my favorite or this album is my favorite. I mean, that's just such an honor. So thank you so much for caring about our music and supporting our group.
Well, trust me when I say, Todd, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you once again. And to all the mixtapers out there listening, you can find My Weekly Mixtape on almost all the social media haunts at My Weekly Mixtape. You can also head to myweeklymixtape.com to check out the full catalog of My Weekly Mixtape episodes. And if you like what you're hearing on the show, you can help me out by either telling a friend, leaving the show a 5-star review wherever you're tuning in, or becoming a Patreon mixtaper at patreon.com/My Weekly Mixtape. That's all for this week. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, enjoy the tunes.